Guys, Republicans had a major slacking. Like, the blue wave came, and I don't think they were prepared. On Fox News, which is what I'm about to show you, a little clip from Outnumbered, they were not able to cope with this. Like, towards the end, it was like they were just doing ad hominem attacks because there was nothing that they could add further. Like, what can you say when your own polling shows you that Donald Trump is like 38%, 39% approval? What can you say when everybody thinks that Donald Trump is making their life worse and more expensive? What can you say? Now, before we jump into this, please do me this big favor and subscribe, like, comment. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers before the end of the month. A little ambitious, I know. We were able to meet our last goal like within 2 weeks. Crazy. I love y'all so much for that, and let's jump right into this.
Now, Ohio gubernatorial candidate Vivek Ramaswamy urging his fellow Republicans to learn from last night's losses and reprioritize. Watch.
We got handed to us in New Jersey, Virginia, and New York City. Democrats swept all three. There's two key lessons for Republicans. Listen carefully. Number one, our side needs to focus on affordability. Make the American dream affordable. Bring down costs, electric costs, grocery costs, healthcare costs, and housing costs, and lay out how we're going to do it.
This as a new poll finds about 70% of Americans say groceries are more expensive now than they were a year ago. And about 60% of them are blaming President Trump. According to our Fox News voter polling, the economy and cost of living were the biggest issues for voters in New York City's gubernatorial candidate Vivek Ramaswamy, urging his fellow Republicans to learn from last night's losses and reprioritize. Watch.
We got handed to us in New Jersey, Virginia, and New York City. Democrats swept all three. There's two key lessons for Republicans. Listen carefully. Number one, our side needs to focus on affordability. Make the American dream affordable. Bring down costs, electric costs, grocery costs, healthcare costs, and housing costs, and lay out how we're going to do it.
This as a new poll finds about 70% of Americans say groceries are more expensive now than they were a year ago. And about 60% of them are blaming President Trump. According to our Fox News voter polling, the economy and cost of living were the biggest issues for voters in New York City's mayoral race and New Jersey and Virginia's governor's races. And in all of those races, the Democrat or Democratic Socialist won. This morning, Trump pointed to the shutdown as a possible strike against Republican candidates. Watch.
Last night, it was, not expected to be a victory. It was very Democrat areas, but I don't think it was good for Republicans. Also about the shutdown and how that relates to last night. I think if you read the pollsters, the shutdown was a big factor, negative for the Republicans. And that was a big factor. And they say that I wasn't on the ballot was the biggest factor. But I don't know about that, but I was honored that they said that.
All right, Brian Kilmeade, what's your analysis?
Wow, a lot. I mean, we represent the morning shows today, so we've been doing this for a while. A couple of things. Republicans did not have a good day. So anyone who says, well, not really that, but no, it was bad. Jack Ciattarelli, I thought, was a really strong candidate. I thought his message was clear and crisp. I was surprised he lost I was surprised he lost it all, let alone by double digits. But you live in New Jersey, I live in Long Island, where there's a sliver of Nassau County, as you know, did very well. And Bruce Blakeman is the Nassau County executive, might even run for governor, at least Stefanik too. And I think the governor's race next year becomes really intriguing in New York. And I think a lot of people left Manhattan, left you, Rosanna, and they went out to Long Island to get away. A lot of people went down to Florida. And I thought it was interesting stat last night that Ron DeSantis said, when I took office, there were 300,000 more Democrats than Republicans. Now we have 1 million more Republicans. So America is voting with their feet. And I think in a way it's a little scary because we're really separating as a country, not in a straight line like the Civil War, but we're in boxes. Okay, I'm out of this state. I don't agree. That's a little scary. The other thing is what they tried to do is nationalize in New Jersey and they tried to nationalize in Virginia, and they were effective. They ran against Trump. Trump wouldn't have won and has not won in either one of those states. And the candidates were unable to overcome it. In the case of Lieutenant Governor Winsome Sears, great biography, not a strong candidate. So I don't think she was going to win. The second biggest shocker to me is the Attorney General's story. And for Jay Jones to win, I'm stunned by that. I'm stunned that the people of Virginia don't have higher standards.
All right, Rosanna, I want to go to
Donald Trump was on the ballot. His immigration policies were on the ballot. His tariffs were on the ballot. His lack of responsibility for anything was on the ballot. And then for them to make like Vivek Ramaswamy being the person that they're going to use video of, hey, Republicans, we should talk about affordability. Do you know how quick they're waiting to kick Vivek off? I mean, like, they literally had Ann Coulter come up on Fox News, wasn't it? And it said, hey, yeah, Vivek, I wouldn't vote for you because you're Indian. You're not white. Like, we all know what the Republican Party's mindset is, which is why they lost Hispanic voters. They're going after anybody that's black and brown, terrorizing them. Is the reason why they went and had poll watchers in California and Virginia and New Jersey and New York. Because they were trying to intimidate voters not to come out. And guess what? Voters came out in droves and said, hold on. This is not the America I signed up for. This is not the American dream I signed up for. And for somebody to be pointing out about Jay Jones, yes, the texts he put out were abhorrent. However, you voted for somebody who was found sexually liable of sexual assault. Any type of trying to make sure people that don't deserve it to be in politics, stay out of politics, stopped as soon as y'all said that was okay. You're voting for Felon 47. Let's keep on listening, y'all.
you now, respond to everything, but also let's play a Mamdani clip because I want to get your thoughts on Mamdani in that particular race. Guys, roll.
I think the lesson for the president is that it's not enough to diagnose the crisis in working class Americans' lives. You have to deliver on addressing that crisis. This is a president who ran a campaign on the promise of cheaper groceries, and now, as was said by one of our co-chairs, has gone so far as to cut SNAP benefits for close to 2 million New Yorkers. Someone who is literally making it harder to afford those same groceries whose price he was decrying not that long ago. And what scares Republicans across the country is the fact that we will actually deliver on this agenda. And the contrast is something that they cannot bear to witness.
You interviewed him, first of all.
I've interviewed him a bunch of times on Good Day New York. Listen, he's very charismatic. He knows the buzzwords. Sometimes his words can be into word salad, but he knows how to get everybody's attention. And I'm not so sure picking on the president on the first day that you've won the election is the smartest thing that you could possibly do. And yes, affordability is a problem in New York City for everyone. And you know what we're seeing? People are leaving, and it's because of taxes. Now Mr. Mamdani has run on tax the rich. They're the ones paying for everything. If they start moving, and they are. And you know how we know? Because we're getting a snapshot from the Department of Education. We now learned that at one point we had 1.1 million kids in New York City public schools. We're down to about 800,000. Wow. We've seen that many people move their families out of New York City for a number of reasons. Taxes, not happy with the way the public school system is going, dumbing down the curriculum to basically make sure that the lowest in the class is the focus rather than the one who's the smartest and making everybody rise. Listen, I'm an intrepid New Yorker. I've been singing to myself all day, we will survive, okay? Because we want New York to survive. Do I think Mr. Mamdani can do everything he says he wants to do? I don't know. We had Mayor Adams on our show this morning. He talked about the rent board. He gets 6 choices to stay on the rent board before he leaves office at the end of December. Those people will decide whether they're going to freeze the rent, which has also been one of the campaign slogans for Mr. Mamdani. So what I'm saying is Mr. Mamdani may not do everything that he says or promises, but like I said, we're intrepid New Yorkers. We'll get through this, and we're hoping for the best for New York City.
Yeah.
You have people that are on Fox News that are making millions of dollars, that are telling people that are poor, that can barely afford their next meal, hey, vote for somebody who's going to price you out of the city. So that's what's happening. Working families are getting priced out of the city like they don't matter and that only the rich matter. Because that's basically what she's saying. She's like, well, rich people, they pay a lot of money in taxes. Well, they benefit a lot from the city. They benefit from being in the number one financial capital of the world. They benefit from the person that comes and gets the trash up off the floor, off the ground. They benefit from that person that is a waitress. They benefit from that person that's opening the Walmart. They benefit from the cab driver that is dropping them off. They benefit from all of these different parts of these infrastructures. So if you want to benefit from the system, pay into it your fair share. When you're making an exorbitant amount of money off that system, you should have that responsibility of paying in a good portion of that money back so that the people that are on the bottom that are making $32,000, $64,000, $100,000, because in New York, that is still poverty, given how expensive it is, so that those people have the ability to stay there and continue to make your business thrive. Because what happens when you no longer have the people picking up the trash? You no longer have those public school teachers. You no longer have that person that is your waitress. It's not someplace you want to live, do you? You don't want to have wait 40 minutes for your food to arrive to your table. You don't want to have to walk down the street full of trash. You don't want to have to wait 20 minutes before the next cab is available because all the people that were cabbies are leaving because they can afford to live there. Like, it doesn't make sense, the Republican logic. Which one do you want? Do you want the best city in the world, or you just want a city that is struggling with only rich people that don't do anything but be CEOs? Choose one. Well, let's keep on listening, y'all.
Well, look, Democrats didn't just win in blue places. They broke the supermajority in the Mississippi state legislature. They flipped seats in Texas that had never even been competed recently. They, in parts of Virginia that are deep red, the average, I think, was 6 points towards Abigail Spanberger. In New Jersey, Mikey Sherrill got a bigger margin than Governor Murphy did a couple years ago. So it's not just that we won in blue places. Democrats won all over the country. And I think a few things are clear. Number one, when Donald Trump himself is not on the ballot, his ideas don't win. And all of these candidates, look, Mikey Sherrill, Abigail Spanberger, very different candidates than Zohran Mamdani. They are moderates. They worked in the national security field, but they talked about affordability. And Donald Trump himself even admitted the shutdown, the Republicans are getting blamed for it, and that they needed to talk more about affordability. Donald Trump properly diagnosed the problem. And so it's not just that we're winning in blue states.
When's the last time a Republican won in?
A lot of red states right now on the edge of bankruptcy are already bankrupting. A lot of farmers right now are bankrupting. A lot of America's manufacturing jobs are leaving. A lot of jobs in the tech sectors are laying people off. Like, we're in the edge, we're at the precipice of with the AI stuff going on, with the tariff war that Donald Trump made with China. We're at the precipice of not really knowing what's happening. Like, they keep saying, well, next year is going to be better. Next year is going to be better. We're still seeing jobs just being lost left and right. We're still seeing farmers where are the contracts? We're waiting for that contract. Where are the contracts? It's not happening. We're still on the edge of our seats waiting because we know that the next shoe is about to drop. We just don't know when it's about to drop. People can't afford the American dream. America is built off the ideal that you work hard, you go to school, you do everything right, you get the American dream, whatever your American dream is. That is no longer attainable. There's no way, no matter how you try to spin it, that is just a fact. What makes America uniquely America is that you get whatever that dream is you're trying to reach, whether it's building a business, starting a family, buying that house, getting your dream car. Those dreams are harder and harder to reach. So, yes, the polls, like you said, they broke a supermajority in Mississippi, of all places. They were able to win statewide elections in Georgia, of all places. We were able to get double-digit margins in New Jersey, someplace y'all thought was going to be 6 points in the margin of error, double digits in Virginia. We are seeing that Hispanics that were going to Trump are coming back to the Democratic Party, which, mind you, Republicans in Texas, you specifically made districts with huge majorities of Hispanic voters. That looks like it might come back to bite you in your asses. That is what we're talking about. Donald Trump had a majority of men vote for him. On Tuesday, a majority of men voted for the Democratic candidate. Those are shifts that aren't small. They're seismic. Because what you really are hoping for is just to hold on to a tiny bit, because elections are about the margins. Our margins are huge right now. They are warring right now. Because if this was 2026, I can see us getting less than 40 seats in the House, no matter how you try and gerrymander it. You can't gerrymander your way out of 40 seats, because that means we're going to at least still get 20. Well, let's keep on listening.
Virginia in the presidential election, 20 years.
But look, I was sitting.
When's the last time they won in New Jersey? More than that.
Kaylee,
These are blue states.
I was sitting at Fox a year ago when we talked about, we couldn't call Virginia till very late in the night. We talked about New Jersey's shift rightward. We all talked about how young men were fleeing the Democratic Party.
And then what happened in the midterms? Democrats overperformed. It doesn't always predict.
A year ago, by the way, at the same time that the Democrats have no national party leader and the DNC is useless. Despite all of that, we beat Republicans across the country. And I will say,
was 2021 predictive of 2022?
I will say, we sat here in 2024 and we said, we've lost young men, we've lost Latinos. Mikey Sherrill outperformed with Latinos by huge margins in New Jersey. So all of these trends we've been talking about for a year, Republicans should not take them for granted. Last night was not just a Democratic Socialist here in New York. It was Democrats, moderates, running across the country, breaking the back of Republican
who envision
parties.
the deaths of children. I mean, like, that is literally your interpretation.
I mean, Abigail Spanberger worked at the CIA. She is not a Democratic Socialist.
One of the bigger stories is going to be how the Democrats are going to try to get this together and meld it and weld it together, because there's one on the left who won, and there's one you say in the middle is a moderate that won.
She's not a moderate. She's not a moderate.
She is absolutely.
Well, let's say
really. Then why did she pull her endorsement from Jay Jones, who talked about killing children?
Jay Jones was first of all, she said she abhorred the comments and she disowned them. He was already on the ballot.
I didn't realize the new moderate was
What are the things Donald Trump has said about people, Kaylee, that you and others defend?
He's not envisioned killing children.
Oh, we can have a whole debate about
He's
the things
not
Donald
said
Trump
Hamas should not lay down their arms, who killed children. Like,
no, he just said that he can grab him by the pussy. No, he was just found liable of sexual assault. No, he's just 34 count felon. No, he just funded Israel having a genocide. No, he's just grifting off the office of the presidency. No, he just calls people all kinds of weird names. Shifty Adam Schiff, lock her up Hillary, just I can't even remember, because I'm not as juvenile to be coming up with all these bully little kid names. Okay? But you see, this is what Republicans do. When they can't beat you on policy, they give ad hominem attacks. What's the point? I don't have to ad hominem attack you. I just have to tell you, I just have to ask you a policy question and watch you sputter and not be able to answer the question. That's all I have to do if I'm a Democrat. And I don't understand why they think Democrats need to be a monolith. There is no right way to be a Democrat. It's not. You're going to have Democrats that are more on the left. You're going to have Democrats that are more center. You're going to have Democrats that are a little bit of everything. Shoot, we have Democrats that are racist. And I can say that. We do. But guess what? It's about how do you message? And every single one of them message on affordability. That's just a fact. They all message on affordability. And each Democrat worked in their region. It is what it is. And the reason why I bring up the racist part is because, and I don't think that people are racist. I just think that people have blind spots. We have Democrats that have blind spots. We saw that with the guy in Maine. But as I said, I'm not in Maine. And if it works for in Maine, I want a Democrat to win. He had a blind spot. He's fixed his blind spot. He's working on fixing his blind spot. People aren't perfect. There's not one way to do anything. It's about the outcome that matters more than anything.
Like, that's a unique Democratic
That's not what Abigail Spanberger is saying.
That's what Zohran Mamdani said, who endorsed Mikey Sherrill, and she didn't disown the endorsement.
You guys want to talk about Mamdani, and I get why. He's charismatic and he's super left. Democrats won in Mississippi, Ohio, Virginia, New Jersey, red parts of those states
with moderates. And if Republicans don't want to admit that today, they're going to be in for a rude awakening next year. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I think part of the shock, at least for me, it's not that he's charismatic, it's that he's blatantly anti-Semitic. It's that
I don't think
his methods are neophytic. I mean, it's an absolute travesty. And that there were candidates considered moderate who refused to denounce and condemn horrifically violent rhetoric. I think I'm just surprised that people voted for that.
But a lot of Jews voted for him, Emily.
Against it.
But a lot of Jews voted for him.
33%.
And a lot of Jews voted for him.
And that breaks my heart.
New Yorkers aren't dumb. They got to elect who they wanted to lead them. And if he fails, they will elect someone else.
He will fail. Socialism failed in the Soviet Union. It'll fail in New York City.
Well,
we should all be rooting for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
We should all be rooting for the city to succeed.
Socialism's not going to succeed in New York.
Why would you root for somebody in America to fail? That makes no sense. Why would you root for somebody when you're in, like, they're in New York and they're rooting for the person that is running New York to fail? They're not America first. Every time somebody tries to tell you and try to convince you that Republicans are American first, just remind them that you're not. You're not, because you're actively rooting for the other side to fail. Nobody on the Democrat side is rooting for Donald Trump to fail. I'm rooting for him to succeed. Why? Because if he succeeds, America succeeds. Now, I don't think he will, and it's not because I'm rooting for him to fail. It's because I don't think he has the discipline to take his emotions out of decisions and to actually listen to people that are smarter than him. I believe he wants to be the smartest person in the room, and when he's not, he feels intimidated, and he takes out those people that are smarter than him. And because of that, he makes sure he's around people that are just not as competent. Now, yes, there are some exceptions. I believe there are some people that were able to sneak their way in by downplaying their intelligence or their expertise, like Marco Rubio possibly. But other than that, I mean, do you really think that Pete Hegseth deserves to be the head of the Department of Defense? Do you really think that Christine owns that Department of Homeland Security? Do you really think that Caroline Lovett deserves to be press secretary? Like, none of those people would be able to work in a traditional Republican administration. None of them. None of them would get hired. But the standard is so low, the bar is so low, given what Trump is looking for. He's looking for loyalty, not success in America, not for America to succeed. He just wants people that will allow for him to continue to rip off the presidency, which is why the polls have come out the way they came out, and the elections had such a huge blue wave. People are realizing and opening back up their eyes on, hey, yeah, I remember how bad Donald Trump was. He's even worse this time around. But y'all, tell me what y'all think about all this in the comments. Did y'all enjoy this Fox News clip? I'm trying to try different clips to see, like, how can we bust open this misinformation bubble that Fox News is building? And I just want to know, did this work a little bit? Did you enjoy it? Let me know in the comments. Remember, like, comment, subscribe, please. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers before the end of this month. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.